Hello Exiles! In today's video we have the perfect Cyclone build with over 10 million damage total. We are also fast, like too fast. In addition, we have enough tankiness to not get one-shotted by most endgame bosses. Now if all of that interests you, then you might want to stay tuned, because this build guide is just about to start. Now Cyclone is well known of being the best melee skill in the entire Path of Exile universe, and it is mostly played with the Slayer ascendancy, for many good reasons. The first one is impact. It gives us up to 50% increased area of effect as we keep killing stuff. It also grants us up to 15% more melee damage if we are sitting close enough to an enemy. The global accuracy rating bonus is also very important. It helps us break through the 3000 accuracy rating mark for that optimal hit chance against monsters of all levels. Next we have Endless Hunger. This node alone is pretty much the only thing you need to sustain with zero investment in life recovery on the passive tree. We also get stun immunity while leeching. Pretty neat. We mostly take this node to unlock the one behind it though, which is Brutal Fever. This one gives us a huge damage boost while leeching. It also makes leech effect near permanent since it won't be removed at full life. Keep in mind that this also means permanent stun immunity from the previous node. Finally, we have Headsman. It gives us a decent damage boost against unique enemies, in addition to a large quality of life upgrade for those who like to speed map without looking at their map mods, with the can't take reflected physical damage modifier. Note that we are not using Starforge in this build. If you decided to use it, then take Overwhelm instead of this node. It will end up being a better option damage wise since Starforge base crit is not that good. But with that being said, we are done with the ascendancy. Now let's talk about our passive tree. Now here is what your average tree should look like, including your cluster jewel setup. We have the minimum amount of passives rolled on all of our cluster jewels, so that we can minimize our passive points investment there as much as possible. We will talk about them later though. But for now, let's check what items you will be using. Just remember that this build is designed to give you the best possible performance without investing into mirror tier items. However, this doesn't mean that this build is going to be cheap. So starting off with our weapon, we have a two-handed exquisite blade. You are looking for as many damage modifiers as possible. This includes, but not limited to, high physical damage rolls, attack speed, crafted crit chance and quality. You can get something like this for the average budget of 13 Exalted Orb. For your chest, we are going to combine the 3% Crusader Explode mod with the base crit bonus given from the Hunter influence. The Explode mod is essential if you want a buttery smooth clearing speed. A chest like this will set you around 20 exalts. Next for your helm, you have Devoto's Devotion, a pretty standard item for any Cyclone build, since Cyclone really needs as much movement speed as possible. Here we have Cyclone Attack Speed enchantment, which you can totally ignore because it skyrockets the item price. I got mine with the enchant because the offer was irresistible at only 15 Exalted Orb. For your amulet, you are looking for Crit Multi and maybe increased area of effect Elder mod. Make sure to have an empty prefix slot to craft -3 mana cost for channeling skills. For your rings, on the first one we have Assassin's Mark Curse on hit. That's around 15% more damage from a single item against bosses. Here we also have life and crafted -3 to channeling skills mana cost. Same thing on our other ring. Having this craft on both rings and amulet leaves Cyclone with 0 mana cost, allowing you to spam it without having to worry about mana management. Aside from the craft we have on all of them, we also have life, increased melee damage Elder mod, and the high intelligence roll. You are going to need this somewhere else because it is required to equip most of your items and gems. So moving on to our belt, we have one with as much life and defenses as possible. We mostly focus on defense for this slot, because getting a decent attack damage belt can cost up to 100 exalts. And honestly, when you are already dealing 10 million damage, you are not going to notice any difference from a single item swap. Anyway, for your gloves, you have life, attack speed, increased melee damage, and high accuracy roll. The accuracy mod is required to break through the 3000 accuracy rating threshold. I have all of those things rolled on a spike gloves for that extra damage boost implicit. Finally, for our boots, we have Tailwind Elusive boots with 35% movement speed. It doesn't have to be 35%, you just like need to have movement speed on your boots. If it didn't roll one, then just like craft it. For me, since it already had movement speed, I just crafted life on it and called it a day. Generally speaking, Tailwind is far more important than Elusive, because where Elusive only gives you movement speed, Tailwind gives you total action speed bonus, which also impacts your damage output by 10%. And with that being said, we are done with your items. Now let's talk about your gems. Starting off with the most important setup, your Cyclone configuration. We have Cyclone, Impale support, Awakened Melee Fizz, Close Combat support, Infused Channeling, and Brutality. If you can't get Awakened Melee Fizz, then the normal gem works just as fine. Now, since we are using a two-handed weapon, we get the privilege of having a second 6-link setup. So we start this one off with Blood Rage, Leap Slam, and Summon Lightning Golem. All those skills requires mana to be used, hence we link them with Blood Magic. Then we have faster attacks for Leap Slam and Fortify. From here we move on to our 4-link setups. The first one has some auras. It starts with Pride, Herald of Purity, and Blood and Sand. All those are linked with level 3 Enlighten. The other 4-link setup and the last one for this video is Dread Banner, Precision, Cast when damage taken, and Steel Skin. Make sure to not maximize your precision level since we don't have enough mana for that. Instead, you can keep it at level 1. So now we go to talk about our jewels, starting with Cluster Jewels. We have 1 large and 2 medium ones, each with the minimum amount of added passives. On the large one, you can easily have some really powerful notables like Martial Mastery, Fuel the Fight, and Martial Prowess. For your medium Cluster Jewels, they both have area of effect modifiers on them, like Magnifier and Assert Dominance. From here you get to socket regular jewels instead of going into smaller ones. A good example of a pure DPS normal jewel is something like this one. Or if you want more attack speed, maybe this one. Upgrading jewels can be expensive, so leave them last after you are done with your items. But for your Watcher's Eye, it's pretty simple. You just need the +2 Impale mod while affected by Pride and you should be good to go. So now, what about Bandits? We help Alira for her crit multi and all elemental resistances bonus. For Pantheons, we go with the Soul of Lunaris for the increased mapping speed. And for the miners, we have the Soul of Shakari for the poison immunity. And we are done with this build guide. If you guys enjoyed watching this video and me melting bosses, then make sure to destroy the like button and maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss any future build guides like this one. Also don't hesitate to comment your thoughts and I will make sure to respond to you as quickly as I can. My name is Phoenix and I will see you all in the next video.